Hey guys, it's your boy Berserk Telecast coming at it with a life story. So this is the laced weed experience. This story takes place 3 years ago, so I was 16 at the time. And at this time, I smoked occasionally, and my weed dealer was out of town. And so I hit up another kid that I knew sold weed. The only problem with this kid is that he was sketchy as fuck. So let's call him Ryan. Now, obviously, Ryan is not his real name, and I'm not going to give out his real name because I'm not going to give out personal info. So, Ryan was sketchy, like I said, and I hit him up, and we meet in the secluded part of the park that I live close to. Anyways, he pulled out the weed, and normally I will smell the weed so I can judge how good it is, and the supposed weed quotation marks he was trying to sell me had a weird smell to it, and I can't describe the smell, but I can say without a doubt that it wasn't weed. So I told him, "This isn't weed, so what is it?" And Ryan told me that it was the dank shit, and that it is the best weed you can buy. So I start asking again, and I said that this isn't just weed, and what did you mix it with? And he told me to just smoke it and find out. So at this point, I tell him to fuck off, and I went home. And 2 days later, one of my really good friends, and for the sake of the video, let's give him a name. Let's call him Jeff. So Jeff hits me up and tells me that he has some weed and asks me if I want to go smoke with him. I told him that I would come, but I wasn't sure if I was going to smoke. And the reason why I said this is because I was sketched out over the fact that Ryan was trying to offer me laced weed, so I was taking a break from it for a little bit. So Jeff and I headed over to this one kid's house that Jeff knew, but I didn't know the kid. But Jeff told me that he was cool and everything, so we went to his house. And anyways, we get to the kid's house, and Jeff starts smoking the joint in the backyard. And I didn't smoke any of the joint. Keep that in mind. So it's just Jeff smoking the joint. And when Jeff finishes the joint, we go inside, and about like 10 minutes later, he starts acting weird. He complained that his fingers and his face were numb. So I had the bright idea to smack him in the face. But the thing is that he didn't feel a thing when I smacked him. So at this point, I came to my own conclusion that he smoked laced weed, and I figured that he bought it off of Ryan, which turned out to be what happened. So at this point, I was going into a full anxiety attack because I didn't know what my friend smoked, and I was worried that he was going to die and I was going to have to rush him to the hospital or something. So I helped Jeff get back home, and when we were walking home, he didn't know where he was, even though we've been that route before. Like, he knows where the kid's house is, but this stuff just put him into another universe pretty much. So I bring Jeff home, and he passes out on the couch. And I stayed over with him. I wanted to make sure that his pulse was still there. I wanted to make sure that he was still breathing, and I would keep checking on him. Like, I would make sure that he was still breathing, everything was alright. So, and he didn't die. So, I stayed overnight with him, and the next day I get together with Jeff and a couple of my friends, and we go to his house. And anyways, we start planning our revenge against Ryan. And Jeff wanted to go and beat the shit out of Ryan, but I didn't want to get into a fight. I didn't want to get charged with assault or anything. So I had the perfect plan for revenge. So later on that night, we went over to Ryan's house, and on the way we had 3 bags, and we filled them with dog shit. So when we got to his house, the lights were on, so we knew someone was home. And anyways, we put the bags of shit down, we lit them on fire, rang the doorbell, and ran across the street and hid behind a parked car. And anyways, Ryan wasn't home. Guess who was home now? And guess who came outside? His mom. His mom opened the door, saw the bags of shit on fire, stomped them out, and then noticed that they were full of shit. And she started screaming. Like, I felt bad. Like, when she opened that door, my heart sank. I'm like, oh shit. So, anyways, I popped out from behind the car and I went over to her and I explained that her son sold me, or sold my friend actually, a bag of laced weed and that he smoked it. I thought it was heroin due to the fact that he was numb, his fingers were numb, his face was numb. And I offered to clean up the shit because I honestly felt bad. I didn't know she was going to open the door. And this mom was chill. Like, once I explained that, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make that bastard clean this up. Don't you worry about it. You don't have to do a thing." So, and she also apologized, about her son selling the laced weed to Jeff. Anyways, later on that night, I missed a call from Ryan, and he texted me saying, "You're dead." And what happened is his mom found out that he was doing heroin, which is why now I know that it was laced with heroin. And nothing happened. He didn't beat the shit out of me, he didn't kill me. And all I know about him now is that he's in jail. So that's pretty much the end of the story. Jeff's alright. I'm still pretty good friends with him to this day. And like I said, Ryan's in jail. Probably something involving heroin or some other sort of drug. Anyways, that's my laced weed experience. If you enjoy, please leave a like, share, subscribe if you're new, and have a great day. Peace, peace.